My name is Crystal, and I'm an adult service librarian here at the Palos Verdes Library District. Today, we have a special presentation called Spice Odyssey, a culinary adventure, brought to you by Chef Marie of the Los Angeles Harbor College.
Welcome to the Spice Odyssey. My name is Chef Marie. I'm here to talk about herbs de Provence. Has anybody used herbs de Provence before? Oh, wonderful. Oh, I'm preaching to the choir now. I'll just go a little bit deeper where it came from, what the uses are, and a couple of recipes that you can use it, especially in this summer heat. Okay, so welcome. We could get started. If you have any questions, please reserve the questions until the end. All right, let me just give a little bit of a background. I teach down the street at LA Harbor College, Los Angeles Harbor College. We offer multiple different classes. If you're interested, especially those that, if you want to just have fun, we offer many adult ed courses, culinary cooking, professional baking. We're offering a new barista class that's 100% free. Also Garmager, which is the cold pantry, which is salads, soups, well, no, not soups, salads, dressings, mayonnaise, and dining room management. So if you want to do table settings, napkin foldings, we have this non-credit adult ed that we do at night and sometimes Saturdays in the summer. So if anybody's interested, we have some literature up there. For our culinary arts program, we offer hospitality and professional baking. So if you know anyone that's interested in any of these, please pass the flyers along, because we'd love to teach and spread our wings throughout this community. All right, let's start. So for herbs de Provence, the history and the evolution of it. Where did it start, and how did it get so popular? The first thing was herbs de Provence became popular just because it's a byproduct of convenience. For multiple spice blends, it's because what was available around the region, and they just used what they had. So the first traditional country practice was, for centuries, they went around the province of France, gathered wild herbs, which is a mixture of either thyme, rosemary, or savory. Have you ever heard the herb savory before? I haven't either. So it looks like pieces of grass. If anybody knows what tarragon looks like, they're really long. It looks exactly like tarragon, just a little bit of kind of rosemary, but a little bit more softer, a more grassy-like type of herb. So that's what savory is. It's a little bit, it's mild and minty and peppery. So if you think of arugula, has that kind of a peppery note. So those were growing all around the south of France. So what locals would do, they would just grab what they need, and they would put it in any of the dishes. So that's basically how it started. The spice blends now is an equal amount of basically the 4 different herbs, but when it first came about, people were just taking whatever they needed. Maybe they would add a little bit of extra rosemary for the recipe they were using. Maybe they added a little extra thyme. But it all depending on what the dishes were. So it wasn't really a standard recipe for herbs de Provence back in the day when it started. But as it moved closer to now, standard ratios of the herbs were introduced. So in 1970s, that's the commercialization of herbs de Provence. They standardized how much of what herb went into the spice blend. And it was popularized due to one person, Julia Child. So Julia Child really put this herb on the map. In the Mastering Art of French Cooking, I have a copy right in front. She had a recipe that was called poulet aux herbes de Provence. Literally, chicken with herbs de Provence. It wasn't really in print what herbs de Provence was. If you look in the recipe in this recipe book, it said 2 teaspoons of a mixture of any of these herbs, which was a mix of basil, thyme, and savory, and maybe a pinch of fennel. So in 1961, when she published this book, that's when this herb exploded. Like, whoa. That's why this company, in the previous slide, took that mixture and commercialized it. Let's take this herb, instead of just taking what you have in the garden, let's dry it and put it in a container and sell it. This is one of the early herbs de Provence. I feel like, I don't know if this is a newer or older brand, but this is the core blend. So they decided to standardize it with equal parts of rosemary, thyme, oregano, and savory. So I have a couple right in the front if you want to see. I have a couple examples of the herbs. If you want to smell them individually, I have some fresh, some dry herbs available for you guys to see after. The savory, let me pass around the savory. It has an interesting smell. I'll just send this bowl. You could stick your nose in it and see the smell of that. It doesn't really smell like anything. It smells like rosemary. But apparently when you add it, it just adds a little bit more extra peppery notes in your recipe. So ideally what happens is during the summer, they'll pick all the herbs because they're rampant, and then they'll dry it. People would just dry the herbs and then mix those spice blends when they need it, especially during the winter time. So these are the herbs. When we use thyme and rosemary, so thyme is the backbone for braises. It has that earthiness to thyme. You usually use it for chicken. Rosemary does add, it's a little bit more woodsy and piney. It holds up to more substantial meats, for example, beef. It's really, really hearty in kind of beef recipes. Summer savory, it's different than winter savory. So summer savory does have the peppery notes and it's more mild. The winter savory, it's a little bit more bitter. So if you want to get savory, grow it in your garden. They sell it at, I believe, Home Depot, or there's a lot of nurseries around the area. So be sure to get summer savory if you want to buy that. So it provides a crisp, peppery bite that balances sweet and floral herbs that cut through rich meats and poultry also. I've never really seen it fresh because I feel like we can't use it fast enough. So when we do have savory in the kitchen, it's always dry. Marjoram and oregano. So those are interchangeable. Marjoram and oregano are kind of almost the same, but marjoram is a little bit more milder than oregano. So very big in the Mediterranean, and oregano always enhances tomato dishes. So anytime you have tomato dishes, you'll add oregano, basil. So that goes hand in hand. Other unique additions, as commercialized herbs de Provence started coming out, people started adding different herbs. The unique addition that I thought was very fascinating was lavender. Strictly American blends of herbs de Provence have lavender in it. I feel like they added it to add a little bit of extra notes, floral notes, a little bit of differentiation. If they didn't add the lavender, it'll taste exactly like Italian herb seasoning. So I feel like maybe the French and the Italians were fighting when they were here, so they wanted to make their spice blend a little bit more unique. What's more unique than adding a flower to your herb mix? So you'll see that I have a couple of different examples of herbs de Provence up here that does have one that has fennel and the other one has lavender. So if you want to smell the difference between the two, that is available up here also. So these are the different region blend variations. So French, like I said, it has savory, rosemary, oregano, and thyme. Our Northern American one has addition of lavender. And then there's a difference between the coastal Riviera. That one has fennel seeds, tarragon, bay leaves. And then rustic households has wild thyme, winter savory, sage, mint, and parsley. Those are, it's probably, it's rustic households because those are widely available in your gardens. Not everyone has sage, but it's an easy herb to grow. Parsley is very easy. I have some parsley up there. Mint is a weed that it will grow anywhere. You know, they always tell you if you have mint, make sure you keep it in a pot because it'll just take over your garden. Yeah. And then a little bit of different uses. You could use the different variations of the herb. You know, if you want to make a braise or stew, roasted chicken or vegetables, vinaigrettes and seafood, fresh goat cheese, and artisanal breads. Use all of those. The one that we use today in the recipe that I'm going to show you today is the top one, is our French label rouge, because I made a stew for you guys to try. Ooh, ah. All right, our culinary uses, okay? I know some of you already have used herbs de Provence. What are some ways that you guys use the herbs de Provence? Just shout it out. Scrambled eggs. Scrambled eggs, that's pretty good. Salad, awesome. Soups. Grilled vegetables, there you go. That's That's my talk. I am done. I'm just kidding. So let's go a little bit further. You could use this to enhance meat dishes. For chicken, beef, lamb, pork, every type of meat, you could add this on to enhance it. For roasting or grilling, high heat. Slow cooked infusion, so braising, just allowing the herbs to shine, to go into the recipe. Very, very easy to just add it into anything. The next one is vegetables and stews. We roast the produce. That's what you said. Somebody put it on roast vegetables. You toss potatoes, carrots, zucchini, and bell peppers with olive oil and herbs before roasting to crisp. Aromatic results are there. One of the things that I'll talk about it later. I'm going to jump the gun here. I got too excited. Soups and casseroles, works beautifully in ratatouille or hearty vegetable stews. I'll talk a little bit more of ratatouille. But that is one of the most popular French dishes that uses this herb. And allows herbs to meld into broth during simmering. Also, really quick note, baking and dressings. You could add the herbs to infuse into your baking. If you want to make a nice Italian loaf, spread it on top of focaccia bread. So good. Or even after the bread is done, you could add, you could infuse oils with the herbs, or even just dust the herbs on top of oil and vinegar, and you could dip some bread into it. Making you guys hungry yet? All right, the next one, seafood pairing. I wouldn't assume to use these type of herbs on seafood, but it works very well with it. Because it does not overpower it, depending. Anything when you use herbs or any seasoning, you just want to use enough to accentuate the dish. I don't want to use so many herbs that it'll drown the meat or drown the fish. You want to just use a sprinkling that enhances the delicateness or the sweetness of the fish. So it complements salmon because it's very fatty, because the herbs are a bit stronger. Trout, cod, halibut, and other mild white fish. Very simple preparation. Just coat the fish with extra virgin olive oil, light dusting of herbs, bake it, grill it, however you want to do that. Also, you could mix the herbs with maybe some panko or some breadcrumbs. And then you could fry it or also grill it or broil it. Or even another good baking method is a parchment paper packet. You'll take parchment paper, put your fish, herbs, little drizzle of olive oil, maybe some lemon, fresh herbs. Close up the packet of parchment paper, stick it in your oven, or stick it in a grill, on top of a grill, but grill on a sheet pan because that paper will burn. And just poach it. Nice, it'll steam, and you'll have the perfect steamed soft fish, or even seafood.
How long would you bake it, and what temperature?
Maybe 15 or 20 minutes. Because it's enclosed, it won't take that long.
So like 350, 400?
Yeah. And then sometimes you could always open it. If it's already steaming, it's probably already done. Yeah. You're welcome. Okay, part 2. Everybody likes the recipe, the food portion. We're talking food all the time. But classic recipes, what iconic dishes can you use with herbs de Provence? The first one is a Provençal chicken stew, which I did a variation for you today. Very easy. You'll just sear chicken, add a couple herbs de Provence with olive oil, garlic, deglaze with wine. Add, who has a garden? Anyone have a nice garden? I have a garden as well, and I have rampant tomatoes that just came out of the ground. I didn't do anything. I was like, where did they come from? So I have so many cherry tomatoes. It'll be great. Just toss in some cherry tomatoes, simmer those with this chicken. It'd be really good. Slowly simmer it for 45 minutes until tender. That's one of the classical dishes. The dish that Julia Child does exactly this, but she goes a little bit further, where she takes a hollandaise. That's kind of a savory, more hollandaise sauce. Hollandaise is a mixture of eggs and butter, just a lot of eggs and butter. But I think she does like a sauce supreme also. She adds a little bit of extra stock to it, but she'll cover this with a hollandaise sauce to make it a little bit more rich. We're trying to go light, airy. She just mounts it with all this butter. But if you look up her recipe, it's really good. The next one. So this is a French vegetable tahin. Hopefully I'm pronouncing it right. It celebrates provincial layers of layering, very big for the summer. Those of you that also have gardens, people have a lot of zucchini, so this is what they did in the summertime. They layer summer squash, zucchini, eggplant. Sometimes eggplant, majority of the time it's usually zucchini and squash, and then ripe tomatoes. Sometimes this one has caramelized onions underneath, seasoned heavily with herbs and slow roasted till everything gets nice and melded together. The top gets nice and crispy. The tomatoes become sweet, still hold its shape, but then it's a very kind of a jammy, kind of comforting dish. They do this dish also on top of like a pastry, a brisée tart, which is a buttery kind of think of a fruit tart, but not sweet, that base part. They'll layer tomatoes and zucchini and bake it and have a nice slice with a salad for the summertime. A lot of people could mistake this for ratatouille. Those of you that like the movie, if you remember, have anybody of you seen Ratatouille, this guy right over here, he made a dish that looked like this below. They called it ratatouille. So when I was doing the presentation for this, I was like, wait a minute, that looks very similar to this one. Wait. So I researched it. There is a debate going on. What's the difference between the two? So the difference between the two, this is typical ratatouille here. It's diced up. It's kind of a homey dish. Those of you that have one of those comforting things, kind of like a chili, or one of those things you could throw together and put a meal on the table, spaghetti, you know. Ratatouille was like this for the French. They took whatever vegetables they had, stewed it down with some tomatoes. Usually it has zucchini, eggplant, and they'll stew it down, serve it with a crusty piece of bread. But how Ratatouille did it, to make it fancy, he sliced it thin, baked it in a dish, and then served, like the food critic that brought him all the memories. But they're essentially kind of interchangeable, but the difference is usually Ratatouille is heavier on the eggplant, less the caramelized onions. Sometimes Ratatouille has a layer of crushed tomato on the bottom or a little bit more tomato base with the vegetables on top. Olive oil, usually. I used avocado oil in this recipe just because I had it. But olive oil, because the region, it's near, in the Mediterranean, olives are very big. So olive oil, but you could use any oil. But yeah, ode to him. It's like, wait a minute, Disney, did you get it wrong? Okay, here's the tart that I was talking to you about. You could take your tomatoes, dust it. All these recipes also, just letting you know, has herbs de Provence in it. Just reminding you guys. But our rustic tomato tart, you could take tomatoes, put it on a ready-made puff pastry. Those of you that want to make a real summer tart, a lot of people don't want to bake or turn on their oven during the summer. But for quickly, you can make this within 20 minutes. You'll take a piece of puff pastry, put a little bit of creme fraiche down, or kind of a thickened sour cream or Greek yogurt, seasoned Greek yogurt. You could layer your vegetables on top, olive oil, dusting of herbs de Provence, then you're done. Yeah.
Can you put a vegan cream cheese?
Yes. Yes. You want to thin it out a little bit, maybe. Sometimes, so it doesn't. Sometimes when you bake cream cheese, it'll get curdly. So you could also save it and then put it on top. Like drizzle it on top. So this one has Dijon mustard, topped with Gruyere cheese, tomato slices, more herbs de Provence, extra virgin olive oil, and baked until golden. That looks really good. That with a nice little salad, potlucks. It's really, really good. Right? Okay, here we go. All right, cooking and storage tips. So herbs like to be bloomed, kind of like you want to release some of the aroma first. Sometimes in other cuisines, say Indonesian cuisine, Southeast Asian cuisine, sometimes Indian cuisine, they fry their herbs and spices in oil first before they add a base to it. So that's what you want to do with some of your herbs. You want to bloom them briefly in warm oil to release the aromatics. Also, too, you could do an aromatic rub. I've seen this when I was growing up watching culinary cooking shows all the time. They always took the dry herbs and rub it in your hands just to release some of that oil, to bring it out. Let's see. Oh, the aromatic, that was crushed before using. But aromatic rub, you could mix the herbs with oil and then rub it on your meats. Roast lamb, pork and poultry. Okay, I talked about crust before use. And then airtight storage. You always want to store any herbs or spices, cool, dark place, not underneath the sink, not in the refrigerator, because the refrigerator pulls a lot of that smell out. Not in direct sunlight. And you have to make sure you use them within 6 to 9 months for maximum freshness. Usually, if you have fresh herbs, you could dry them yourself, but make sure you rotate them. I still... going to my parents' house, sometimes they'll have that spice packet that's from like 1997 when I graduated from high school or something, in the back. Just make sure if you want optimal freshness, you want to make sure they are fresh, okay? You could always change them out. Sometimes the bottled spices, they are kind of expensive, but ideally you could just dry your own. It's easy to have a plant and to dry your own. Yeah.
Will you talk about how to dry them?
If it's hot right now, you could just take them. Usually, what kind of herbs do you have?
Well, I'm saying like if you have basil, thyme.
Oh, thyme and rosemary is very easy. Just get a bunch, grab it, bunch it with a rubber band or a string. And if it's hot outside, just hang it outside in the sun and wait till it gets dry and crispy. What's fun with Italian or French cuisine, they'll have a bunch of thyme that's dried, and what they do is just kind of crunch it on their dishes, which is really fun to do. Okay, so I will talk about the recipe that I made for you all. I have the recipe here. Oh, whoa. I'm so excited that you guys are excited. So because of time, and it's a library, cooking demos, and they have oh, is that extra one? I'll take it. So, sometimes cooking, I might set off some fire alarms, but I'll go over what I did last night, because usually stew is always best the day after. There you go, thank you. So very easy. This is a great summer stew, because does everyone have a crock pot just in the cupboard somewhere? Or you could also use the stove, but it's hot. Who wants to have something simmering for a couple hours on the stove? Not that many people. But I picked a recipe that's good for the summer. You could do 20 minutes of work in the beginning, put it in a crock pot, leave it for 4 to 5 hours. Or if you're going to be doing this on the stove, 45 minutes to an hour, very low simmer, you'll be good, because it's chicken thighs, yes.
If it's just vegetables, what base would you put? Would you use like a vegetable broth?
Yeah, vegetable broth. Oh, we have vegetarians here? Yes. Oh, yeah, definitely. You don't have to use the chicken. Use all the same ingredients. Can you drink wine? Okay. So yes. Yeah, you could use a pressure cooker. I put this on slow, but you could do pressure cook, but very minimal time. Because it's chicken thighs, they'll cook very fast. But yeah, you don't even have to use chicken for this. Vegetable broth. You could even at the end maybe add tofu or any other kind of meat substitute if you want, just to have that extra protein. You can even add dried beans. Yeah, a couple canned beans or something. All right, so this is what I did last night for my chicken prep. For this recipe, we'll take a couple of 8 chicken thighs, take the skin off. If you want to use chicken breast, you would probably not cook it as long as well either, for those of you that don't like chicken thighs. But, dark meat has all the flavor. So with bone-in chicken thighs, I just took off the skin, salt and peppered it, and dredged it in flour. Then I sauteed I browned my chicken in a pot, and I transferred them to my slow cooker. I did them in 2 batches because it couldn't fit in my pot, so I did 4 and 4. So if you're doing this vegetarian, don't do this step, okay? Then after I did that, I took the chicken out and I sauteed onions. So it's about a medium onion, 2 stalks of celery, and a medium carrot. I put a little bit more carrots just because it's fun. But if you want any kind of sturdy vegetable, you could add to this. Put whatever you want, really. Make it hearty. And I put mushrooms. So I sauteed the 3 carrots, celery, and onions till they're slightly soft, and a little bit of olive oil, scraping all the flavor off the bottom. I added mushrooms, and then the herbes de Provence, and garlic. So I sauteed that a little bit until the mushrooms kind of release their juices. After that, then the fun happens. I add a half a cup of wine, really good wine, the ones that you want to drink. And then I'll reduce it just a little bit, just to evaporate some of that alcohol. Yes? White wine, yeah, white wine. White dry wine. You wouldn't want to use a sweet one for this. After that, I added a little bit of chicken broth. Okay? Then I scraped the pan, simmer that a little bit, add a can of crushed tomatoes, or I could have used all the tomatoes I found in my yard, but I didn't want, my tomatoes are so sweet, I think the dish would have been overly sweet. So I used a good can of crushed tomatoes. What else did I add? And then I just simmered that for about 4 or 5 minutes, brought it up to temperature, added everything in my slow cooker or pressure cooker. What I did was add a couple of bay leaves, salt, pepper, set it, and I forgot it. I had a party. I have 2 of my friends back there. My husband's back there. We had a little party last night just to celebrate the summer, celebrate someone's birthday. And by the time our party was over, the stew was done. 10 minutes before it's done, I just adjust the seasoning. I tasted it. I added extra salt, and then I added black olives, just to add a little bit of extra saltiness. But if you don't like olives, you could keep it out. You could also put green olives if you like that, but it adds that saltiness what the province of France usually has. You know, they'll have olives because they have olive trees. And then let that go, and then eat and enjoy. Okay, so at the end, I'll garnish it with a little bit of parsley, and then there you go. Any questions? Any more questions? You can, yeah. Yeah, rice wine is fine. I mean, if I didn't have white wine for a lot of my recipes, sometimes I'll use sake. Sometimes I'll use, what else can I use? I've used soju one time, but the unflavored soju. Any like a little alcohol just to round out the flavors. The thing is with the skin, when you slow cook it, sometimes it gets a little rubbery. What you can do is you could fry it with the skin, take it off, and then put it in your air fryer, and then break it on top of your stew, or eat it on the side. Yeah, it just gets a little rubbery when it's slow cooked, but I don't mind it either. If it melts, you're fine. You can leave the skin on. The question they asked was, can we keep the skin on the chicken? Yes, you can. It'll just get a little rubbery if it's overcooked, but you could totally keep it on. Yes.
How does it get cooked again, the vegetables, if it's just straight vegetables?
Oh, just until they get soft. Just probably you'd want to slightly cook them before you add the tomato juice. Oh, slow cooker. Maybe no more than an hour, hour and a half.
Okay, not overnight. Right?
No, you don't want them to fall apart.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other questions?
What's in the Provence?
Oh, herbes de Provence. Yeah. So herbes de Provence is a mixture of 4 main ingredients. 4 herbs is thyme, oregano, savory, and rosemary. What is savory? Savory is a peppery herb. Kind of looks like, it looks like this plant, but the leaves are a little bit thicker. It looks like tarragon. Did the savory come back up? Oh yeah, here you go. If you want to smell it, here's some savory here. I'll let you smell it. And then I have 2 different types of herbes de Provence up here. That one of them has lavender and the other one doesn't have lavender. Okay, so while you guys are asking questions, I made a sourdough loaf that we're going to pair with this chicken stew. So hopefully you can see it. Chicken. Okay, you can see it a little bit. Sorry that you can't try it. Yeah. So an herb that I don't use that often, sometimes if you go to the Hispanic or Latin aisle, they have the little spices that are in little packets. Those are about $1 each. I'll just get those and use what I need because I know I won't use it enough. Some of these shakers, you know, the ones that are in like the glass bottles, those are like $7.99 sometimes, even with a coupon. So sometimes I get the little packet. That's where my thyme came from, was a little 99-cent packet from the Hispanic aisle. Yes?
So when I try to dry my herbs like cilantro or dill, it just ends up getting...
Oh, So cilantro is one of those herbs that have a lot of water content in it. So you can't really dry cilantro unless you have a dehydrator. Yeah, for dill, you can dry it, but that's also, because as long as it's really dry, if you just really, really dry it, put it between paper towels and put it in the sun, or if you have a dehydrator, it would be much better.
Can you dry the herbs inside the oven?
You can. If your oven is less than 200 degrees, you could dry your herbs in the oven, yeah.
I do mine in microwave. Like
Oh.
lime.
Mm-hmm.
It stays green, it doesn't.
Oh, okay.
burn brown.
There you go.
Once you have washed it, dry it and put it on a single layer on paper towel and 30 seconds at a time, a few times.
Huh? Because it takes the water out of it. Okay, so good. Did you guys, everyone hear that? She dries her thyme in the microwave. She washes it, dries it, put it on a single layer of paper towels, and 30-second increments. It's all ready to go. Cool. Okay. Can you help me? The honeydew. Which one? Oh, I made this. This is sourdough bread that I make. I did. So I am the pastry chef at LA Harbor College. So I teach professional baking normally at LA Harbor College. That is me. So I made this because I'm off on break. We don't have classes. So I don't know what else to do. My sourdough is alive, so I just have to keep on feeding it. And then when you feed it, you got discard. I was like, I guess I'll make bread. So save some for you guys. So how many people? 33 people. Okay. Oh, how many of you are vegetarian? Oh, okay. 5. We'll just give you some bread. Is that okay? Okay. With some herbs of Provence. I should have brought some oil. I should have known. Okay. Keep on asking questions while we serve this up if you have any. No?
So your classes at the college, do you teach how to make the bread?
I do, yes. We have a professional baking course. Our classes are mainly on Fridays. So it's a credit course. There are 3 units. Next semester on Fridays, I teach pastry in the morning, different pastries. And at night, we'll have a bread course from, I think, 2 to about 6 o'clock at night is our professional bread, artisanal bread class. Okay. Hopefully is it warm? Should have been warm. Okay, so. Okay, we'll put it on the tray. You want to put this, and then we'll put, I guess enough for 30 or so. Okay. What else? Like I said, we have a barista class also, and then just regular culinary skills. I've taught adult ed at LA Harbor College for about 6 years, and we just have fun. We bake. I teach them how to do teach the students how to do one recipe a day. So we had a good question. Someone wanted to sign up for classes. In order to sign up for classes at LA Harbor College, we register to be a student at the college. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. But that opens up the gates to any classes that are offered free for adult ed. If you want to do bookkeeping, if you want to learn Spanish, sometimes we have our cooking classes, our barista classes. We have a lot of other adult ed classes that people can take. I don't know on the top of my head what they are, but I only know ours. So be sure to sign up for the college. If you're having trouble, just you can Google our LA Harbor College Adult Education Office. A number will pop up, or hopefully an email. Email them, and they'll walk you through the whole process. Or even visit our college. If you go to the office, which is in our tech building, they will do everything for you, which is amazing. Okay, any other questions? If not, thank you for attending. You were a pleasure. Thank you, thank you. Have a great afternoon. Enjoy. So the importance of spices in a meal is to enhance different flavors. You could have chicken. Chicken will always be chicken. But depending on what spices you add or take out, you could take that chicken to France. You could take that chicken to Italy. You could take that chicken to the Philippines, where I'm from. You could take it to any country, depending on what spices you use. So spices are very important in cuisine, just to elevate the flavors, to enhance the flavors, and to bring your, wherever you want to go, to your home. You know. might as well, instead of traveling, if you can't travel right now, you could travel with your food. I started off at 18 at a community college in San Francisco. So that's when I first started off with culinary arts. And then I took a journey. I decided to get my degree in nutrition first and food service. But then I wanted to actually go back to the kitchen. So at 18, I took a 10-year break. I decided to go back to the kitchen, and I went into pastry at 28. So 10 years later, I went back to school, got my pastry degree. And then from then on, this is the educational wise. Then I went to do my master's, but then also working in the kitchen, I went from smaller bakeries, little kitchens, to big commercial bakeries. But when I first started off with cooking, I really just sold food with my grandma. That's my first taste of being a chef, was cooking next to my grandma and then selling food at a bingo hall. She was the gateway for my cooking career. And whenever I cook, I just am reminded by like her example. And I've cooked my way through some commercial bakeries, kitchens, and now I teach at LA Harbor College in the culinary and professional baking area. For those of you that want to become a chef, the steps that you could take it could be multiple different ways. The first way, you could go to school, which I started off at a community college. Some people have a little extra money and want to go to a private school, but I would like to promote community colleges or smaller culinary schools because, number one, it's cheaper. You get the same education, same theory, hands-on experience sometimes for free, especially if you have financial aid, but the cost is very little. But if you go to a private school, you're going to pay a little bit more. You'll learn a little slower, do one recipe at a time, but some people like that type of aspect. I like school, I promote school, but some people I've seen that start off working in a kitchen as a dishwasher and work their way up in the industry. But what happens is sometimes when you do that, you kind of hit a wall, like an educational wall. Sometimes a lot of our students come back to school, they've worked in the industry for 20 years, but they go back and they need their degree or paperwork to move up in the industry. So hands-on, it's all about the student. If you're willing to put a lot of work in, anywhere you put yourself, school or in the industry, you can do well. That's what I believe. It's how you approach your drive to become a chef or to become a better cook, and multiple avenues. School, no school, just cook. Coming to PV Library, I love this experience. Doing Spiceology, this is my third year doing it, or third experience doing it. I love being able to bring my gifts to the community, to share my knowledge with anybody that shows up, share different spices, different ways to cook them, interact with the community. That's the main thing I love coming to the library, is to interact with real people, people that love cooking as much as I do and are excited to learn something new. That's why I love doing this.
Palos Verde Library District offers an array of programs for adults and seniors, including health and wellness. We have culinary arts, something like we hosted today, like the Spice Odyssey. We have tons of book discussions, book clubs. We have author talks. We have write-ins. We have, of course, programming for children and families. So join us at any time. Drop in. We would love to have you.